Aim high and shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you will land among the stars. This is basically what this game devs decided to do. They shot for a lot of things and they threw a lot of stuff on the wall to see what sticks and moved on to the next aspect. This game being their first game ever, I really commend them on their spectacular work and hope they make even a better one next. You will see a lot of reviews saying that this game is bad and others saying that this game is really well made. On Steam, for example, it has a very positive review score, while on YouTube, the game is being dissected. It really depends on what you want and what you would expect from a game. Let me explain. This game takes a place in an alternative history retrofuturistic world where the Soviet Union has technological breakthroughs that made them the world's superpower. Robots are the norm and they do all the man labor while humans focus on humanity's evolution and scientific breakthroughs. The world is extremely technologically advanced and utopian. Everything seems great until the launch of Collective 2.0, which is a scientific breakthrough that would allow humans to control robots with their thoughts and enable them to learn just by wanting to. Imagine Neo from The Matrix, where he learned Kung Fu along with different languages in just a few minutes. Now you have a clear idea. You can easily know how this would go south, and it does really fast. Now visually, the game looks amazing and stunning. When the first scene loaded, I just kept staring at everything and everyone. The water, the face details, the texture, the animation, everything looked like a big leap from any previous game recently released with its graphics. And the game also runs really smooth, it's well optimized, and you won't face any issues running it at all. On my 3070 Ti and 5800 X3D, I ran the game on high settings with a constant 144 FPS. Seeing other reviews on Steam and Reddit, I can confirm that the game runs smooth on almost all the rigs with the right settings. It's actually fresh to see a well optimized game being released in this period of time with everything runs like shit on release. And hey, the sub button is also optimized, you just hit the sub and you're in for reviews and news all about gaming. Now, that along with the amazing detailed world that they have built would give you a great setting with a great story and a great world. And this is where the butts start kicking in. Now, the world is amazing, but it's ruined by a bad exposure to it. The story is great, but it's ruined by the cringe king main character. The characters are great, but they are ruined by an awful script where they never stop talking. The combat is great, but it's ruined by bullet spongy bosses, not mentioning the extremely narrow field of view. When you are first thrown in the world of Atomic Heart, you would expect to have an immersive experience with its great settings and how shit goes south really fast, but you sadly don't. Although you will enjoy the world of Atomic Heart, but you will never feel that you are invested in it and it will never leave an everlasting impression in your head. Worlds like Bioshock, for example, where everything felt like it had a meaning and everything felt as a little piece of a puzzle, completing the 1000-piece puzzle picture. And speaking of puzzles, while exploring, you will come across a wide variety of puzzles, which I really loved and enjoyed. They are fun and engaging, and some of them have cool ideas that I have never seen in a video game before. The area's designs are phenomenal. Every area feels like it has been pulled from a real-life location with the amount of details put in carefully. Hats off to them on that regard. I would have loved if there were less areas with that beauty and details, with more time spent in each of them, rather than having a lot of areas with little time spent in all of them, but that's just me. Just like the design of this sub button, it's simple, easy to click, and will help this video reach more players like you and me. Now, moving on to the review, the outside world of the game is particularly bad. I don't see a point in adding that to the game, to be honest. It would have worked much better for the game to stay in the multiple areas section underground because it's very clear that they excelled at that. And it's very clear that they didn't know how to do a partially open world in a good manner, which have proved difficult for a lot of companies. The outside world is filled with enemies everywhere, like literally every corner you face and every stone that you flip will get you an enemy to face. While that can add to the realism of the story and its events, with the robots overtaking everything, it doesn't suit the experience well at all, especially with the flaws in the combat and the enemy's health bar. There are security cameras everywhere, and when they see you, they will call for reinforcements. And when you try to destroy them, a drone comes to repair them in a few seconds. And I'm talking here about the camera and the enemies. When you destroy the drone, another one spawns immediately, and this keeps happening endlessly. The only way to take it down is to take the area of the grid by destroying the security system located in the map, and even then, it only happens momentarily. Now, the story is actually really well made. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it, but it was ruined by one of the most annoying and abrasive main characters in recent years. All the time, he is like, "Oh, I am a strong person. I don't care about anything," which ruins the mood for everything and kills the moment easily for you, not mentioning the glove. Look at this for example.
Where are we?
This is the Academy of Consequences, the facility's memory, analytics center, and primary archive. The activities of all the other complexes are studied here in order to draw conclusions and generate probability matrices.
Get to the point.
I get that they tried to make a laughable moments between characters, and I really commend them for that. And sometimes a little cringe is funny, but add some more and you will ruin the moment. The other characters in the game are good. They all feel essential to the story and the world, and most of them to the plot. But they were ruined by an awful juvenile script that makes it hard for you to be engaged in the story. Now, just as a quick heads up, join my Discord server to stay up to date on all the gaming news and the newest releases. Pair your favorite clips of your games there for me to publish them in later videos with your name on them. Check the description for more info. And finally, for the combat. Now, the combat has a great premise, but it's then quickly ruined by multiple aspects. Firstly, the field of view in the game is awful. There is no slider to widen it, and it cannot be changed. It makes it so hard to fight enemies, as you probably won't be able to see half of them on your screen due to the narrow field of view. Enemies spawn in groups. Fighting one of them would require you to pay attention and keep an eye to the others so you won't be jumped from behind, which happens all the time because you are not seeing them, which can get quite frustrating. Because the enemies are basically bullet sponges, you will start doing a lot of mindless swinging because you just want this to end. They did a great job with each enemy being weak to a certain weapon or skill. Stuff like shock, fire, melee, guns, which makes you engaged at the beginning of the fight, but then it quickly goes downhill. Still at this point, I haven't talked about the enemies' designs. Dude, those devs fucking excel at designing stuff. Each enemy looks fresh, unique, and new. I loved each and every one of them. They are always a spectacle when you first encounter them. Now, I played the game at the beginning on medium difficulty, but then I was not able to bear with all the problems in the combat. Then I switched the difficulty to easy, which solved most of the problems because you don't care about that combat that much anymore. But then the combat started to be mindless swinging because they were easy, like so easy, which I would prefer above the previous experience, but still, they didn't strike a good balance in the difficulty system. Overall, I love and dislike the game at the same time. And notice the words that I used. I loved and disliked the game at the same time. It is a perfect example of a 7 out of 10 game. If you could bear with the flaws or don't care about them, then this game would give you a pleasant ride with a blast. But if you are like me and couldn't bear with some of the flaws, mainly the endless pointless talking between the characters and the combat, then I would recommend you step away from the game and maybe visit it later. Congrats to the devs on this game being their first. I am really looking forward for their next game. If they took note of the negative areas in Atomic Heart, their next game could easily be one of the best releases in that year, and mark my words. Thanks for tuning in Escaping to the World of Gaming series where I review games. Hope this was informative. Leave me a comment and tell me what did you think of the game. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Did you face the problems that I did? And would you recommend this to other players? I would love to hear from your feedback. Also, don't forget to hit the sub button as this helped me and helped the channel to reach more players like you and me. I release quality content on daily basis, reviews, news and clips, so I hope that I see you next time.